So think about it from the standpoint of like orgasm control, which can be a lot of fun, or denying or forcing a number of multiple orgasms towards person. Like those things are
Mm.
exciting to me because I am in control and you are giving me this control, or you are powerless to stop me because you're in restraints.
Yo, we made it to season 1.5 of Butch Queen After Dark. Not quite season 2, but we are still in the building. Now, before we get into the episode, I need y'all to help me grow this show. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please subscribe to the podcast. Please also rate the podcast. 5 stars, please. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and comment. I want to talk to you. You know I'll be in them comments. And of course, share with your friends. You got friends, right? And. If you have a question, a story, a confession, something you want me to talk about, send a listener letter to butchqueenpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, y'all ready to get nasty? Let's go. Welcome back to Butch Queen After Dark. I'm your host, David Brandon, content creator, sex educator, and certified slut on a mission to normalize freaky, sex-positive conversations because they always lead to better sexual health outcomes in our community. Tonight's guest, I have two beautiful men sitting with me. And tonight we're stepping into leather, power, and a dynamic that's still unfolding. I'm sitting with a leather daddy and a leather boy who are navigating control, curiosity, and what it means to build a connection rooted in kink. And on top of that, they're doing it as Black men in a space that hasn't always made room for us. Please welcome Sir Chris and boy Vixxen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Of course. How y'all doing tonight?
Super.
Doing
It's
good.
past my bedtime, so I'm good now.
Yes,
Like we're
yes. Sir Chris, you made it very, very clear to me that this will be past your bedtime. So I'm gonna make sure that we make it lively and exciting for you. I promise.
just know that when tomorrow happens and I'm grumpy and he's anxious about it, it's your fault.
Okay, that's fine.
So okay,
I can handle
it'll be
that.
fine.
I can handle that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to start, uh, I will start with Sir Chris. What was one of your sexual awakenings?
Sexual awakening. See, I knew you were going to ask this question. I really thought I was going to have it.
Go
Sexual
ahead.
awakening for me. Probably the first concert that I ever went to was Janet Jackson. Ironically, it was Rhythm Nation, which is the closest you'll ever get
Mm.
to a leather conference, a leather outfit. So
Huh.
that may be it. But yeah, I think that's probably where it started, somewhere with Janet Jackson.
Absolutely. I don't know why I haven't thought of this. This had to be an awakening for many folks into leather, into BDSM, right? She was tying
Uh,
people
you
up.
know, it's
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't back in, she was uplifting the people, but it was a lot of leather, it was a lot of black, it was a lot of body parts. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was Janet most likely.
Yeah. It was
It
whips
was
and
most
chains, right? And
it was
Yes.
it was black folks,
she and I have been
a black
together.
woman experiencing whips and chains. Like, this is kind of revolutionary. I never thought about this before. Janet is the queen of BDSM. Let's be clear.
She's she's up there. May not be the queen, but she's up there.
All right, not too much now. Not too much. Okay, very good. I love that sexual awakening. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And boy Vixen, what was one of your sexual awakenings?
One of my most prominent sexual awakenings was when I was in middle school. My friend had just got the Lady Gaga CD. It was the Fame album. And I
Okay.
was like, let me just, borrow it. Took it home, burned it to my computer. This was back when we were burning stuff to computers and
Uh-huh.
whatnot.
Yep.
And just started from song one and went all the way down. And just by the end, like took off those headphones and was like, yeah,
I'm
like,
gay.
yeah,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
like you just
Yeah.
brain altering, just very like,
Yeah.
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 You just
Yeah.
And then
you
like
just
the
started
music
go.
videos that came afterwards, they were just like, yeah,
Mm.
it didn't, it solidified it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think that is a very prominent sexual awakening too. You hear like music that's made for queer folks, but not knowing that it's made for you. And then you hear it
Hmm.
awakens in you.
It's something
Um,
in you just resonates.
You just
yeah.
start voguing. You're just
You
voguing,
start
hand
yeah,
geometry out of nowhere.
go
Ah,
for it. Yeah. I
absolutely.
I resonate with that because when I was a kid, my dad bought me a you too young for this, boy Chris. but Sir Chris, you might know, a Jock Jam CD. Jock Jams? Do you remember
I
Jock Jam? It
yeah,
was like a compilation CD that had
yeah.
all, like, the hottest tracks on it
Okay.
from, like, the whole
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You order
yeah,
it in the
yeah,
mail, right, so it would come. And on the Jock Jam CD was RuPaul's Supermodel, right? And I know who RuPaul was. I had never heard the song before, but I put that song on, I was like, I was activated.
Mhm,
I was activated, but not even knowing I was gay,
mhm.
what that meant, but something in that song let me know, "This is for me. This is my shit." Right? So, I completely resonate with your Lady Gaga for sure.
that's
Okay,
hilarious.
so we have a daddy-boy relationship, right?
Sir,
Excuse me, let me start over. We have a
sir.
sir-boy relationship, right?
Those and I correct you because those are different things.
Well, let's start there.
Um,
Can you explain the
okay.
difference?
So without going into a whole lot of all the different things, when you look at somebody who you are defining as daddy, typically those are very heavily mentor relationships. Those are people that have like a familial, like you're taking me on as, somebody you're guiding and you're serving as a role model. And, it's very, it's very connected in that emotional space.
Mm,
However, when I correct this into, no, I am his dom and he is my boy, and we are in a very service focused dynamic that
mm,
roots us in why we are doing what we are doing and what his role is in relation to me. It doesn't mean that we don't have elements of mentoring and learning and development. I mean, he knows as well as I know, and that anything we do is going to be based and rooted in education. However, this is a service dynamic.
mm.
Um, and so he has a defined role with me. I have a defined role and expectation with him. And that's so it's very clear. And in this leather space for the two of us, the titles make words mean things. And so it's
Copy
important that
that.
we carry it into everything that we do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely understand that, and you talk about the roles. How do you define your roles in this relationship?
So as the dominant sir whatever, my role is to first create safety, but also to lead. And so
Mm,
I take the directional role of setting the expectation for things that we do. I am the one that sets the expectation. I am the one that leads in most of our engagements to the extent that that is expected to happen. If we are in public spaces, he is deferring to me or he follows with me into different engagements. And he looks to me for how he should show up when we
mm,
are when we are in various levels of our dynamic and protocol.
yeah.
Um, for him and for both of us, it's gets into the conversation about what do you want in a dynamic and how do you define who that person is for you.
Mm,
And then from there, it's about building trust with each other to say, okay, I'm going to give you this version of myself to do with whatever we have agreed to and whatever I feel comfortable or I've allowed, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, yes,
Hopefully,
yes,
hopefully I
yeah.
put some words together that made sense.
No, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that, and so take us back a little bit. So, Boy Vixen, how did you meet? How did you get here?
Okay, so there are a couple of different instances that we like had met.
Okay.
The first one was just very much in passing. The second time was recently. This was before we had started our dynamic. And just it was very serendipitous. I was at the bar. I had walked past. I didn't even see him at first. And I looked over and was like, oh. So walked over, of course, to say hey to everybody. Um, and it was just like an energy shift almost, just approaching the group. And it was just like, yeah, of course I'm talking to everybody, but like there's you. And like there's sort of a presence and an aura that he had that night that just made me go like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
see what the natural play
Here we go.
does,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the rest was just history, honestly.
That I
Is
remember
that
that night.
that sounds that aligns. That aligns for
It
me.
does. It is. His version lines up pretty good.
There's a piece missing. I'm missing one thing. Sir, do you know
Why
what I'm
are we
missing?
missing?
Because he doesn't remember it. I'm sure it because it was so inconsequential.
Can
So
can you fill it in? Yes.
okay, so again, we had seen each other multiple times over the last few years. So it's
Mhm,
not
yeah.
like we didn't know each other. We would go to the same bar, we would be in proximity to each other. And one time I remember him being like, I'm standing at the bar with a drink, and he is on the dance floor doing all kinds of convoluted geometry with his body. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta watch this, but we didn't speak. So this last time we were like in the bar together and he comes over and I'm with my husband and his boy. And we all we just create our collective experience when we're out. And so he comes over, we start talking, and we're having a good dialogue. And then at some point he leans in and kisses me.
Mhm.
And
Uh-huh,
and
missing
and
piece.
I'm like, and
Yeah,
again,
because I was probably drunk.
he probably was. But it takes, first of all, for anyone to lean into my space without any preparation, like you've been in spaces with me, you know how I operate. So for somebody to lean in there, it's like, okay, well, let's take, and then I've got my 6 foot tall husband and his
He's
boy
taller than
standing
me.
next to me,
Right there.
looming over. So
Yeah.
anybody who has the
David.
chutzpah to lean in and go for it, oh yeah, this is somebody I need to talk to. I need to
Ah.
figure this out.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
kinda how we ended up here.
And it's no
Yeah.
shade. I saw it, I felt it, and was just like, let's do it.
Let's do
Like, oh,
it. It's my time. It was your time to shine. And you had that
and
moment.
I'm
And look at
like,
you
Literally, I
now.
said, fuck
like
it,
to
let's do it.
subscribe
Look at
I
you now,
like
a
to
whole
subscribe to
boy.
his magazine. I wanna know more.
Yeah. I love that. Subscribe to your magazine. Yeah, subscribe to my magazine, baby. Flip my pages.
Okay.
I love that. Um, okay, very good. So, all right. So you meet, right? And then
Mhm.
do we both know? I mean, I'm sure seeing each other out, you might see each other in leather. You might kind of know you're both into that. But how do we know that we want a sir boy relationship?
So, interesting. I think it's something that's always present with me,
Mm,
especially when I'm out. In most spaces, I'm wearing some type of leather adjacent something. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And
Hmm.
my social media, especially on my Instagram, is very tailored toward power dynamics with random nerd shit in between. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, like, it's very present. I will say at the moment that he and I started conversation, I was not really in a headspace where I was looking for a dynamic.
Mm,
Because I was just kind of in a space of really trying to assess for myself what it was that I wanted.
that's right.
And I was willing to entertain conversation and talk to people because again, when I go through my Instagram, I post different topics and people express interest and desire or want to know more about things, especially because it's coming from a person of color. And I use that as an opportunity to learn more about, the subject or the individual or whatever.
Hmm.
And so I think he just kind of was right time, right place, right person, where it was somebody I knew I was interested in.
Yeah.
And I knew there was something I was going to be interested in.
Hmm.
And so when he approached and he started with the conversations about leather and kink, and I want to learn about this. Oh, well, then let's see where we go.
That.
And
Let's go
and
on that.
actually, I think it was him that said, "Hey, I think we should do this,"
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. So, boy Vixen, you were interested in leather. Had this been prior to meeting Sir? And how did you navigate, like, even like asking for this kind of relationship?
Um, so I've always been into leather. It just never had the space or the people to kind of like practice that with. Um,
Mm,
I'm a very pro-black at the end of the day, and the leather space is a very predominantly white space, and it's not very accepting to
Mm,
people of color. And so, for me, when I got into this journey, it was very important that I found someone not only being black, but somebody that was like black and confident in being that.
mm,
And I honestly like no shade. It was very lucky that like I found my sir because it's been amazing so far. It has been
yeah.
very amazing.
Yeah, I'm so happy y'all found each other. It seems like a really great dynamic that's growing. And speaking of dynamic, earlier I
Absolutely.
said relationship, right? Can you
Hmm.
describe the difference between a dynamic and a relationship?
You want to take this one on?
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh, let's see if he's
So
learning.
let's see what I've learned so far. So, when it comes to a relationship, relationships more so focus on an interpersonal emotional connection between two or more people, depending on what what you're into. There are poly relationships and there are monogamous relationships. Dynamics, however, cover the service, cover the education, cover the mentorship. Just
Mm,
cover like your initiation and your guidance into the leather community itself. Now, that doesn't mean that your dynamic can't become a relationship and your relationship can't become a dynamic. It
uh-huh.
just means that there are clear separations between the two when you're first starting out. And that clear separation is through communication and consent. Through things like being safe, consensual, and saying in all of your activities and all of your conversations, whether it be just, getting to know each other or vetting each other through kinks and fetishes.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean,
Well,
sir,
So,
anything to add?
so yes, and
Mhm,
because the educator in me. When we
mhm,
talk dynamics, specifically in this context, there is an exchange of power. There is a
mhm,
negotiation of power, who holds it and who is giving it. And
mm,
so that's a little bit different. Yes, those things can exist in a traditional romantic centered relationship, but the core of a dynamic that the way that we are discussing it is in the exchange of power and the
mm,
agreed upon relationship that that creates. And so while everything he said is true, there are specific focus, there are specific pieces that go along with it. But at the core, this is one individual saying, I am interested in giving or having power, however you want to express that. And the other person accepting this is what they want or
mm,
saying, yes, I agree. And so that in and of itself is the dynamic because it's the exchange of power in that. Whereas in your traditional relationship, yes, there are power dynamics, and then you can get into heteronormative ideas about role
uh-huh,
specific ideas. However, this is very specific upfront. This is what we are doing. And again, it is important that we call that out because
mm,
we're talking about specific things.
that's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I completely follow. Okay, very good. So, uh, let's talk about earlier y'all spoke about black men in leather, right? What is
mhm.
it like being a black man in leather and how do you navigate this space or how have you navigated the space?
So I talk about this a lot. My husband and I talk about this a lot because as we have been on our individual and our collective journey through leather, we have largely navigated the space together and as individuals. And what I mean
Mhm,
by that is, I think for a long time, the two of us were trying to explore these different ideas and concepts and labels and didn't really have a good idea of what we were doing. I had
mhm,
not necessarily didn't have a good idea of what we were doing, but didn't really have the guideposts, where a lot of people jump in and they have a mentor or a community or people that they surround. That can be difficult as Black males, especially as Black males who are centered in themselves and their identity and they're confident in how they're going to show up, as we both try very hard to be. I would say now my husband has a much more he had more experience in that
Mhm.
world, just even having dipped a toe in, you know what I mean? He
Mhm.
knew a little bit more about what the words mean and a little bit more about how things show up. And I am one of those book smart people where I just pick up a book and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to read about this real quick and go figure it
Yeah.
out. And so together we started to explore, and it really, for the two of us, it expanded out of the exploration of opening our relationship and then
Mm.
figuring out, if that's what we're going to do, then how are we going to show up as individuals in this space? And then we both landed in leather. And then what does
Mm.
that mean for the two of us? But again, we were largely unsure of where we were going, and he has been successful with a long-term dynamic with his boy, and
Mhm.
they've been together for, I believe, 5 years, almost six
Wow.
years,
Yeah.
without a whole and so when we talk about what that experience is as a black male or as black people, they didn't have a whole lot of examples of what they should or shouldn't do or how they
Right.
should they were
Right.
literally figuring it out together.
Yeah.
And it was, again, right time, right place, right person. And they have been able to make it work. But for the two of us, and I'm going to get to the end of this conversation because I'm wordy,
No,
but
you're good. You're good.
what I think we have had to come to is, instead of looking for community outside ourselves, it is better for us to accept that this is the place that we both are in,
Mm.
and we want to be community for other people.
Mm. Mm. So
And
I mean, it sounds like you're creating that space for others.
yeah, we try.
Mhm.
We try to be, and I'll speak individually because my husband's not here, but I try to be approachable to an extent. I try to create environments for people to learn. I Again, most of what you see on my Instagram and some of my ex profile is me, like, putting information out there for people to explore, and it's important for people to see that and
Yeah.
engage with it from me, even though most of the time it's just me retweeting somebody else's stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I
it's good
don't
stuff. Yeah.
claim to own it, I don't claim to be the center of it, but at least you have someone who maybe looks like you that you can ask that question of. That's
Yeah.
no harm or no statement about people who don't look like me, because there are a lot of good people in those spaces. But I find that we often have to default to that because it's difficult to find us. And
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
reasons behind that too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
And I'll stop
No,
there.
no, thank you, and I appreciate, like, the stuff that you post because where else am I finding it? It is so hard to find, and although,
Yeah.
you post black folks, you post white folk, like, I don't care. If you're posting it, I can trust it because it is coming from
Yeah.
somebody that I trust and someone that looks like me, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great thing. Boy Vixen, how has it been for you navigating the leather scene?
In all honesty, it has been kind of um, a boost in a confidence. Um,
Mm,
and and I say that in the sense of, like, I've been more solidified in who I am as a person individually, like outside of leather. It has just
mhm,
strengthened that. It has also strengthened who I am as a partner in my own relationship, who I
mm,
am as a friend, and like how I show up for things. It has restructured a lot of like things in my life, and so
yeah,
having that purpose and like having that extra purpose on top of everything, just like gives you one more a more better understanding of yourself, and two, just something to look forward to, honestly. Just
yeah,
it I've built motivation around it. And that's not to say that I didn't have that motivation before, but it's just like internal motivation being brought out of me in a way.
that's right,
Um,
that's right.
yeah.
Okay. And so you're Boy Vixen, you're also in the ballroom scene, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how are these scenes different? How is the
Not
leather
just in
scene
the
different from the
ballroom
ballroom
scene, he's
scene?
an award-winning of the year
Of the year. Was she body
sex
of the year, sex
siren.
talent of the year?
No, no, I am male figure models body of the year for the Carolinas.
Okay, work it
And it is
out.
an honor. It is a huge honor
Yeah,
to be
congrats.
amongst a lot of, of the years. And so navigating both like the leather scene and the ballroom scene, they're oh so different, but I have
So different.
found personally that a lot of people cross over between the two. And so
Yes,
like
I was gonna say there's a
it's
pipeline.
interesting to see, yeah, it's interesting
There's a
to see
pipeline.
people go from like a ball and then you see them like 5 minutes later at the Eagle and you're like, oh,
Oh, hey girl. Hey girl.
you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
or
yeah.
like or if you go the one night that I came and visit, I went on a random night and like found like two ballroom girls there and I was like, hey, like they're like, yeah, I'm usually here every other night. And I'm like, every other night.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so yeah, there have been a lot of people that have crossed over between the two. And so it feels like another space of acceptance, another space of validation, another space that is freeing, something that is very like dipped in queer history,
yeah,
that is strictly queer. It's another space that is exclusive, in the sense
yeah,
of like you got to know somebody, to know a
yeah.
couple of things to
Get
kind
in
of
it.
like be in
Mhm.
it, and you can't
Yeah,
just go around claiming like just anything. Like you can't go around claiming a house if you've never walked, if you've never even been initiated. Like there are a lot of things that like you have to do in order for you to even be considered. And so,
that's right.
it's just another space of like we know who's who, and I love that.
Yeah. There's also the aspect of competition. Like leather guys
That
want to
too.
compete. Like they want no shade. They want to be top titles. And that is
Yes,
very
sir. Absolutely.
okay, so Sir Chris, what has surprised you the most about this dynamic so far?
Yeah. Um, the ease of which it has occurred.
Mm,
There have been people in my family, in my sphere that have seen us together, and they're like, "This doesn't feel like y'all just met. It feels like y'all have been doing this for a long time." And it does feel that way because we are just so. I think there's a natural compatibility between the two of us,
mhm.
and I think we balance each other out in significant ways. He's my earth sign, so he's very sturdy, very stable,
Mhm.
very very sure about what he wants to do, and
Yep.
then I'm just like, I'm a water sign. It's like, okay, we're
Where we
I hear
go?
what you're saying. We're gonna do it this way anyway, but I
Very
hear what
good.
you want. I hear what you're saying, but let's go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I think it is what's surprised me the most is the ease at which it has been for us to navigate this space, the ease at which he has been able to insert himself into, my everyday life with, I have kids, I have a husband, I have a very demanding job, and somehow at a distance he's still able to be
Mm,
present and meaningful on a daily basis.
that's right, that's right. And just for those that don't know, y'all are in different states, right?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Got
Yep,
it. Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
are. I'm in Atlanta. He's in Charlotte. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so look, y'all can make it work. Stop playing. Don't let distance hurt it. Um, because people really just act like anything is it should get in the way of a
It's
relationship or a
so
dynamic.
hard,
Just try,
that
like,
part.
try.
With the right
Um,
people,
with the
with
right
the right
of
people.
course.
But
It's not gonna be for
Hmm.
everybody, but just try, don't let too many things
yeah,
stop
yeah.
you.
Hmm.
Okay, so, sir, when did you know Boy Vixen was serious? And do you often have folks wanting to be your boy who are not? The evil laugh.
um, oh boy. When did I
Oh,
know
boy.
he was serious? I, I feel like from the beginning. The thing is, you got to kind of know him,
Mm,
and I can joke and say it's kind of from the beginning, but I think there wasn't one specific moment,
Mm,
but I will say, once again, I was in Charlotte for a visit, and he came over, and he was hanging out with my husband and his boy, and we were all just having a good old time, and I forget what he was coming from. I think it was a work thing or something that was happening,
mhm.
and
I can
he
see
spent
that
the
being true.
entire time talking about, and I could tell he was nervous because he was just rambling. Um, but I knew that day he was serious because he came from across town to
That's right.
sit in and tell me about his day. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
and then he brought me a drink. You know what I mean? It was like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay. You
You're
you
doing
really
everything
wanna do
right.
this." And it's
Mhm,
like it's
mhm.
very simple stuff. It's not like any, like, loud declarations or, like, screaming it from the mountaintop because we don't want it to be performative, and it's not.
Yes.
It's just constantly showing up, and he was doing it like from the beginning. So it's like
Mm,
I don't have a specific point. It's just as I have come to know him, the fact that he was like, "Yeah, I want to do this," and he's still doing it.
Yeah,
It's really,
yeah. He's still doing it. He's serious.
he's
He's
still
serious.
doing it.
very,
Yeah,
very absolute.
yeah. But do you have folks approach you to be in a dynamic like this and are not? How do you know someone is not serious like
And you know me, so like I hesitate to say I have people approach me, but yes, they do. Um,
I know.
I think I think it's I give people a lot of grace because you don't know what you don't know. And people will
Yeah.
approach you and say, "Oh, I want you to do this. I want you to control me in the bedroom. I want to give I want you to be this." People will call you all kinds of names and you'll be my sir and you'll be my daddy. And I start with the question, what does that mean to you?
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
you say this, oh, you could do whatever you want to me. Can I?
Are
Are
you
you
sure?
sure?
Are you sure about
And
I don't know.
that? Do you
quickly,
do everything to you? Like,
well, yeah, it's quickly because I can start, okay, well, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And it
You may not like
immediately and again, and I'm being facetious, but here it is. People will tell you what they want you to do and how they want you to show up, but still
yes.
then say, I want you to be my. Well, if you're making the decisions and you're leading the conversation, you don't want a dom.
Yeah.
You want someone to be your, pleasure sub.
Yeah. Who's the
You know
dom
what I
around
mean?
here? I haven't said a thing.
okay.
You can't
And
tell
and
me how to
again,
dom you. That's
and
my job.
again, there's not a thing with that. That's perfectly fine. But words mean things,
Yeah.
and and again, I will entertain a lot more than some other people I know because I want people to be educated.
Yeah.
So if you do start the conversation and you go the wrong way, I'm going to try to quickly lean you back into the right direction. You know what I mean? And I also have, because I'm short and, all these other things, I also have people that approach me and say, "Oh, you must be the sub in this relationship
Mm.
with him."
Wow.
With
Wow.
with the vixen because he's the tall,
Tall.
very very outspoken, and
Yep.
and so people automatically assume that he is the dom here. Um, Now again, these are people who have not met me, and I
Yeah.
quickly disabuse you of the assumptions
Yeah.
about
I'm sure
me
that
at
happens
all.
very fast. Yep.
But those
Yep.
things happen. So yes. And
Mhm.
again, it's all about having conversation and stripping people down from their assumptions and then letting them understand this is what you're saying to me.
Yes. Yes. I I made a reel today or maybe yesterday, I don't know when I made it. And I talked about how body type doesn't dictate sexual position, right? It also does not dictate
hmm
role, doesn't dictate anything, right? Like there are short this, there are tall that, right? But I think because we're so heteronormative, we're so whatever, like
Mhm.
we think that taller means top, means man, like it's weird. Um but
Yeah.
but at the same time, boy, Vixen, how's it feel to be seen as the dom?
Uh,
For like a second.
Depends
we,
on if
we
I'm in the room.
we had this conversation before where I said, yeah, like when I first came out as like a Leatherman, or like a leather boy, um, my DMs essentially would not blew up, but like it was like I could tell the conversation shifted to a
Mm,
more, oh, so like you're in like dynamics, can I be your sub? And I was like, huh? It,
wait a minute.
okay. I'm let's figure out what that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely not gonna come over here. Look at who my sir is. I have the same logic, so it's just like we're not gonna come over and throw words around and think that I'm just gonna be like, yeah, let's go for it.
That's right. That's right.
I want to be able to educate and guide you, um, in a way so that way, when you approach the next person, because it's going to be a no for me, when you
Yeah.
approach the next person, you know exactly how to approach that person. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, it's just been, it's been a time.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So shifting a little bit, we gotta talk about some kinks in here. Uh,
Mhm.
Sarah, we're gonna start with you. What are your
Sure.
kinks? What's going on with that
Uh,
that kinky brain?
the limit does not exist. I am into several different things. The beauty of kink and exploration is that you always are discovering things. Let's
Mhm.
not beat around the bush. What do I like? Impact play. I like oral,
Hold on.
absolutely.
Let's go
Uh,
back to impact. So we're gonna break them all down just real quick, real quick. For those that don't know, what is impact play and what type of impact play are you into?
So, I mean, it's any form of like spanking or, physical engagement with the body
Yeah.
that leads to that. So,
Yeah.
I like paddles, I like flogging, I like the act of spanking.
Mm.
Um, so that is something that I enjoy. It does give me some form of arousal because it is a form of power exchange, right?
Mhm.
And there is something that can be incredibly erotic about a person who truly enjoys that experience,
Mm,
them
mhm.
being on the receiving end of it. So I do enjoy that. Um, everybody loves receiving oral.
Let's
So
get your dick
that's
sucked.
that
That's
one
fine.
self-explanatory. We like
Uh-huh.
that. Enjoy
Yep.
that a lot.
Likes his dick sucked.
I am into a very much restraints, bondage, rope.
Mhm.
Um, I so funny story. I have been I guess I was unaware of how long I have been into kink, but I
Mm.
remember at a very we won't say what age, younger age, um, investing in like restraints, like the under the bed kind.
Mm.
Had those for years. I
Wow,
also
okay,
broke my
yeah.
first pair of handcuffs. Broke the handcuffs in high school because I
Mm.
Okay.
didn't know what I was doing.
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
restraints have always been a part of my thing. It was
Yeah, yeah,
consensual, it's all
yeah,
but, but yeah,
okay.
handcuffs, restraints, that kind of stuff. It all kind of goes hand in hand. I am discovering an interest in shibari, like ropes.
Mhm.
Um, a certain boy that has been a very good model. So we are discovering that I am enjoying that a lot more than I have in the past.
Uh-huh.
Um, Muscle worship is always fun.
Mm,
And then that's just, putting your body on display and allowing people to appreciate that. I enjoy that experience a great deal.
mm,
Nipple play
mhm,
is fun with me. Sense play. I love the idea of stimulating the senses in different ways.
mhm,
Those are kind of I'm a very cerebral person, so it's always I lean a little bit on the sadistic side sometimes because like what is gonna evoke the most sensation from this person and how am I gonna make it
mm,
happen? And those are the kinds of things that I lean into, not so much for the pain, but just to evoke the physical response that I want.
That blew my mind a little bit because yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. I mean, no shade. It makes it more appealing because I think
Mm,
I I struggle with pain, right? I struggle with pain,
mhm,
but I do like to get flogged. I do like to get flogged,
mhm,
up until a point. But
mhm.
when I think about a sadist, I think of someone who wants to see me in pain, who wants to see me hurting.
Sure.
The way you're describing it, it's someone you want to see someone almost react, right? I wanna see you
Yes.
sensationalized, right? I want it's not about the maybe you are
Yeah.
in pain or maybe not, but you're getting that sensation from them, right?
But let's be clear, even from the standpoint of the pain, because if you are into S&M and you're a sadist, you have a masochist who enjoys that. So it is pain, but it is also pleasurable to them. They are
Absolutely,
submitting
absolutely.
themselves to this. So
Yes, this
it's
this is a
hand in
want.
hand, right? So think about it from the standpoint of like orgasm control, which can be a lot of fun, or
Mhm.
you know, n- denying or forcing a number of multiple orgasms towards person. Like those things are
Mm.
exciting to me because I am in control and you are giving me this control, or you are powerless to stop me because you're in restraints.
How do you force someone to have
So,
multiple orgasms? How do you do that?
I mean,
Sounds very
if at first you don't succeed, try again. You keep stimulating and you keep going, and
yeah, yeah.
And, you know.
things
How
happen.
Yeah.
how many orgasms have you
Maybe you
gotten out
take a
of
break,
someone?
maybe you don't.
How many have you gotten? This is fascinating.
It's like, out of me?
Out of
Oh,
him
has he done
or
it to
just
you?
in general?
Sure. I would say in general, but how many or he's
No, I
okay,
haven't done
okay.
this.
'Cause I'm like, okay, just in
I haven't
general.
done this with him.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all will do it now. Just in
Uh,
general, how many have you gotten
yeah,
out of a
oh,
person?
I mean, it was already on the list. It's already on the list. 5.
Oh my god!
5.
By 5, I'm like
We have
It
a
was a
like
lot
record
of
to beat. I love that.
it was a lot of
like,
work. It was a
what
lot of
is
work.
coming out? Did at the end, is, like, just nothing coming out, but you're still coming? Like, what is
But
coming
it
out?
doesn't have to again, see, we gotta remove the mindset. It's not about it coming out, it's about the feeling that we're experiencing.
Uh,
Orgasm does not
Copy.
have to have that.
Have it does not have to have ejaculation. Orgasm does not have to have ejaculation.
Yes,
uh-huh. Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can orgasm in
exactly.
your butt, right? Doesn't mean you're not ejaculating out your butt, but you could feel an
uh-huh.
orgasm that way. You could have a mind
See, I wouldn't
orgasm.
even count
They
those. It
do.
may be more than 5.
Hey, no shade.
Yes.
You might have been 17
But
at this
yeah,
point.
5
Okay, well,
5 is my, yeah.
Okay. I love that. All right. All
And it
right.
was
Okay.
like, there was a time limit on that, so
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, how long? Yeah, how long would you do this? This is
well, no,
fascinating.
no, no, I didn't have time for more. That was the
Got it. Okay. All right. The sun's coming up. We gotta go.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Great. Okay. So
Exactly.
thank you, sir. Boy Vixen, what are your
mhm.
kinks?
So we're still exploring. I'm a little bit into impact play, and I'm exploring that with my sir currently. That's something that is on our list of things to explore. Um, I
Right.
have done bondage experience before. Um, surprisingly, fisting is not a kink, but if I've done it before, it's not something that I'm not opposed to. Very
Yeah.
much, I would have to be the fister. So it's very much, yeah, like, beyond that, a lot of it, a lot of kinks for me are like nipple play, physical contact, sensory
Mm,
deprivation, sensory overloading. So like the experiencing of like the multiple orgasms via sensory, like
okay.
sensory overload.
Talk a
And
little bit
so
more
it,
about the deprivation versus overload and how you experience those two things.
so sensory deprivation is like blindfolds, earmuffs, gags, things that keep you from experiencing the surrounding environment via that sense. So you
Copy.
put an earmuffs on, you can't hear if somebody's coming up behind you. You can't anticipate the touch if you're blindfolded, or if you can't smell the person. things of that nature. And so like it creates a sort of mystery, an aura of like arousal around that mystery of like, I don't know like what side you're coming in on. I don't know how you're going to approach this touch. It might be a hard one. It might be a soft touch, but these are things that my sir and I have discussed prior to
Mm,
because, everything that we practice in kink and fetish is always safe, consensual, and sane. So, you know,
yeah.
getting into all of that is very much like on my list of things to do, but I've experienced those things beforehand.
Okay, okay. All right, very good. I love all of this. I mean, what advice would y'all have for folks that are trying to be more kinky and like discover these
Mm.
things?
Just do it.
Yeah,
You know, so no, I say that. I think you have to become comfortable with expressing what it is that you want
Yeah.
with your partner and then
mhm,
putting that in spaces where people can absorb it and then express interest. I
Mm,
think we are we're in a state where people are so afraid to be who they are.
mm.
Um because and rightly so, because we get all kinds
It's
of
hard out there.
judgment and things like that,
Yeah.
yeah,
but we're afraid more so of the possibility of rejection rather than the possibility of finding what we want. So what happens if you put it out there and someone says, "Hey, I want to do that." Are you
Mm,
prepared to actually do
yeah.
mhm.
Because the
it?
worst they can say is no, but like if they say yes, it's like, hey, what what is the next
Right.
step
Yeah,
after that? Yes,
yeah,
you'd be
yeah,
surprised how many people say, yeah, I'm cool with that, and
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
now you're
And
in
now
that
what you gonna
scenario.
do? Now what you gonna do?
But
You
yeah,
gotta go
so
there and
the
do it.
advice that I give to people is always put it out there in a real way. Like, don't be performative about it. But if you want somebody to spank you, just say, "Hey, you know
You
what?
know,
I'm looking for play partners who are into impact.
Yes,
See
yes.
what you get back."
Yeah, I agree with that so much. I talk with so many folks, and people have their own experiences. But when I talk about kinks, like getting slapped or like getting spanked, and I'm like, "Are you asking for that?" They're like, "No, it just happens." Right? And I'm like, "Oh, well, since it just happened, do you ask for it the next time?" No, I just want it to happen. We have the desires, and we'll not act on them out of shame, out of feeling like we're gonna be rejected. When
yeah,
that person spanked me yesterday, why wouldn't I just ask them to do it today? Right? Where do you think
It's
that
hard.
feeling comes
It's
from?
hard for people.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, it's social norms. I think people are the taboos of what is culturally accepted and what we are taught that we should want and we should allow ourselves. I mean, it's a long time before women are even able, and we're in a whole different conversation, are even able to talk about their bodies in a way that allows them to be sexual. And
Mm,
and black men, don't even get me started about the baggage we have as black men.
yeah.
Just to be able to say that I enjoy sex with another black man,
Yeah,
that that
revolutionary,
that's a battle. So
revolutionary.
I gotta go through so many layers of unlearning and reteaching
Mm,
so that I can just get to a point where, hey, I want somebody to, tie me up.
mhm,
I want to, I want before we get to things like water sports, like we're really into, I want somebody to do this thing. And
mhm.
until we can become comfortable in who we are and ourselves and all those things, you can't even get there.
Can't get there.
And then you're doing it in a space of shame or you're doing it in an unsafe way when all you have to do is just put it there and allow the things that you or the people that you want to come to you.
That's right, that's right. Very
absolutely.
well said, and Boy Vixen, what do you say when people say, "That's some white shit?" What do you say to that?
And it's all surprisingly that I don't get that as often as I thought I was at first.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
a
'Cause you're
lot of
around
the
the right
times
people.
I get, yeah, like a lot of the times I get questions around like visibility and like confidence. You know, especially being a black man and doing something that is perceivably white is it's very like jarring in a sense of like I'm having to like stand ground on like a new personality kind of sort of.
Mm, Yeah.
but it's also empowering, and I see it. I see it affecting like my peers in a positive manner, and I mean, in the sense of like a lot of my peers are standing on who they are now, and a lot of them are coming up to me and saying, I also am into leather just a little bit, or like
Hmm.
these are kind of my kinks and fetishes, and I'm glad that I do have somebody that I can potentially and or not even potentially actually definitely talk to about these things with. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for the education, and I'm always here for the advancement, especially when it comes to making a safe space for people like us, to just be able to explore these things in general, whether it be the light stuff of just, being able to have a hanky and know what that means, or the
Yeah.
heavier stuff where it's an actual dynamic with contracts and rituals and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. Well, look, y'all have been great. We're coming down to the end, unfortunately. So please drop your socials so people can find you because I know they're gonna be looking for you.
I doubt
Absolutely.
you're not looking for me. You can
Oh, they'll
find
be
me on
looking.
Instagram, BXM2099. That's the easiest way to catch me. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Uh, Same thing with Instagram. It's Vixen on video, two X's, three if you are nasty, but not in my Instagram bio. Thank
You see, you see how it comes back. That's a
It's
callback to
Janet.
Janet Jackson. See how we did
It's
that?
Janet. Yep. 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 And with that, Janet, Queen of BDSM, uh,
Mm.
I appreciate y'all so much. I will see you each very soon, hopefully in person. And for that,
Mhm.
I'll see y'all later. Thank you. Peace.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching and or listening to Butch Queen After Dark. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, rate, subscribe, do all the things. We try to make this show grow. And send your listener letters to butchqueenpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, stay nasty, and stay after dark.